Welcome back to another edition of the Millennial Gems podcast. It is your host, Killa, and you already know who pulls up next door, Sitchy. What's going on, my guy?
What's going on, man? Another day, another dollar, another opportunity, man, to make it happen. Let's get it.
As you know. All right, guys, we don't waste no time. We're going to hop right into it. So today, very interesting story over the past week. So I don't know if anybody's heard about Brody over there in ATL, like Mr. Brandon Dillard, aka the veneer specialist, the top tier Atlanta veneer technician.
Yeah.
But right now, from what I've read is that he's facing felony charges for posing as a dentist. So technically, he doing people's veneers, and he ain't got no paperwork. He ain't got no license. And he's been doing this for a couple years now.
Yeah.
So I guess kind of the question for today is, the topic of the day is it necessary to provide the proper credentials before performing in a specific industry? Like, is that like required, or do you think like there's actually things out there that you can do and you can probably get away without having the paperwork for? What you think, bro?
I'm gonna tell you like this, man. There's so many different like scenarios or cases where you can apply this whole situation with. And in his case, to be honest, he should have had some type of certificate or certification to be doing what he's doing, because you're dealing with, nerves, you're in people's mouth, you're taking out, replacing. So you should have some type of certification just for your leverage. But I don't know. I mean, look at his work. Was he doing up to par? Or was he?
I looked at his Instagram, and I looked at the site, well, not the site, but like the Instagram page, all A-list smiles in Atlanta, which almost pretty much his page and that page look almost practically identical.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking at it and I'm like, okay, the work looks fine, but I mean, obviously that's just what we see. At the end of the day, it's kind of like, all right, the people who actually got the work done, like, they're going to be the ones who actually tell you if the work is done, if something goes wrong, or but there was actually something that I read. I think it was on what was it? I think it was Atlanta's WSB-TV2. I seen something where there was a woman who said that she paid bro $3,000 for some partial veneers, and she was gonna go back some months later to get the rest of them done. But when she went to the dentist, he noticed something was wrong when she went in for that cleaning. And so the dentist told her, I guess he asked her like, who did this, and like, you need to be careful. And she asked if bro had paperwork, and she was like, nah, I don't remember seeing any at all. Like, I don't remember seeing none of that. So yeah, how the law work. They I guess the Fulton County Deputy District Attorney Will Wooten says that he's not a dentist. He's never been a dentist. And he may play much as one is on Instagram, but he's not one. So essentially, he's been doing people's teeth for so long and just been able to get away with it. So I don't know. To be honest, I don't want to see bro go down for that, but it's just like, teeth is one of those things that you can't fuck around with. Like, that's personal hygiene. Like, my teeth, my eyes, like my skin, like anything that's physically on my body, I would need to know that you're literally either certified or you have some like years of experience or something like that. Like, that is something that's very, very important, that you can't fuck up on that. You cannot fuck up on something that's like on somebody's like personal body. Because like you said, you hit a nerve, you strike a vessel, like, you can really damage somebody for the rest of their life.
Yeah, some damage ain't no coming back from.
Exactly. So like, man, like I said, I don't want to see bro go down, but yeah, I wouldn't want to trust anybody who, one, I can't see like any like certificate, or like you don't have like proven paperwork or licensure to ensure me that you're actually certified to be doing this, to be performing practice. Because again, I'm gonna be paying you all this money, and then fuck around and my teeth fall out of my mouth, like that. I'll be damned. Like, if the veneers fall out and shit like that. You know, I mean, I would never go the veneer route. I went the braces route, and you know, I haven't had braces for years, and I still, even with my little chipped tooth that probably nobody would ever see unless you like really like looking deep at my mouth, like pause, but only like a dentist would know. But it's just shit like that. Nah, I can't fuck around with that. Like I don't want nobody fucking around with anything on my body if you're not like licensed or like you don't have the proper paperwork to tell me that you're, you know, licensed to do this type of work.
But
Like,
it's also just like I definitely hear what you're saying, but it's also like, yo, at the end of the day, right? This person has obviously a space to get the work done, to do the work, has the equipment, and obviously has multiple clients coming in and out. What
right.
like how was he able to get this stuff without no type of like certification, or like that's what I'm wondering.
And
Like,
and that's what I'm wondering. You know, it's funny because he's not the only one that does this. Apparently, I think I've read something else online too. Like this apparently is like a trend. So there are a lot of people like out on like social media who are veneer technicians,
mm,
and they're out here operating without paperwork.
but
They're
how do
talking about I read something about like they're taking like a 2-day course, paying maybe like I don't know, couple bands for 2 days, and then all of a sudden they just got the green light to go and work on people's shit.
but that 2 days is not even enough. If you think about it, like even like from a doctor, you can't even, no doctor can take a 2-day test and be ready to
No
start
doctor,
practical
no
work.
doctors in
Like you're
schooling for
dealing with
years, lawyers
you're
for
dealing with,
years.
right, you're dealing with nerves, you're dealing with like positioning and alignment and all that. There's no way you in 2 days you have the information and you're ready to do any type of like practical work with anybody. It just doesn't make any sense. You gotta soak that in and practice, because how in the hell in 2 days can you I like so are you telling me right now I can take a test and take a course in 2 days and I'll be ready to start taking people's teeth out and inserting veneers in? Dang,
Hey,
no,
listen,
dang, no.
while it sound crazy, the fact that there's a hell of people a lot have been doing it, and apparently bro been doing it for years. Like he's got the receipts there to show like, yo, my work is legit.
But
So
what
I mean, I would really wonder like if he really thought like, all right, yeah, I'm about to be dead ass like practicing dentistry, and I'm go without this paperwork, and I'm gonna probably get away with this.
Yeah, but the thing about with him though, he's not new to the whole like mouth work. He's clearly been doing this from before, practicing before, or been gaining the knowledge up to this point. Because you don't just wake up one day and you become what is it, a dentistry?
Well, I mean, yeah, practicing dentistry, yes, but you know, veneers is obviously it's obviously probably like a caveat to like dentistry. Like, you know, it's just kind of like a
Yeah,
uh
get into
I
it or
don't know,
something.
like you know, it's just part of like you got like dentistry, and then you probably got like different umbrellas of like
Yeah,
dentistry and stuff
yeah.
like that. So he's like that one doing like veneers and stuff like that.
But it's just crazy though, because everybody's talking about the paperwork and stuff. Like, oh, okay, obviously we understand that, but it seemed to me, correct me if I'm wrong, boy had a whole like office set up. I'm not sure if he had any other workers inside, but it just what I seen online was him even like showing people what to do. Like, he was even like teaching it as well from the videos I was seeing. So with no credentials, how do you get this type of materials to even start or even do any of this stuff? And another thing is, right, clearly his work has to be up to par somehow, some way, because you've been having clients for however much time. But the thing is, what all of a sudden now caused this to come out to tuition now? Like, what happened to the point where people are questioning his actual credentials now? Because he's clearly had a lot of success. And what difference from him being doing this and another doctor can make you say, "Oh, okay, let's start checking his paperwork. Something's going on, bro." Like, because you can go to the
Somebody
dentist right now and they can mess up. You might question it, or you might think it's like a dentist's fault, like one of those times where they just messed up. But what brings it to that level, to the point where it was like, okay, we got to do an investigation on this now?
Well, like I mean, like I said, like you had the shorty there who literally in the article I just read, like on the who said, you know, something the dentist noticed something was wrong. Like,
Yeah, I forgot you mentioned
I
that. Yeah,
mean, it could be like this. I'm sure if nobody, I'm sure somebody had to complain about something.
yeah,
Somebody had to say something.
it had to be.
Like had to say something because I don't believe I believe that he keeps practicing, he keeps doing this if somebody doesn't have like a problem, something didn't arise. Like I don't believe that he would go down for this without somebody saying something.
Yeah. So clearly, there's been some type of complaints. So
There has to be. There has to be. I don't like. I'm convinced that he would have probably been doing this the rest of his life without paperwork, if nobody doesn't say anything. Like,
but the real question is how good was his work? Was his work it got to be good to some point, regardless of what we say.
I mean, you have to. I mean, like, listen. I think it's gonna sound kind of crazy, like the fact that I'm not telling anybody that they need to do this, but really. Listen, you can make things look as legit as hell. I mean, like, I don't know where he got the skill set to learn to do veneers. I don't know where he got the skill set to do that. And like, but again, on his Instagram, on the A-List Smiles page, like, it looks legit. He made it look legitimate as hell. I'm a legitimate business. Of course, I'm gonna have an office space. Of course, I'm gonna have the tools. Like, I gotta show the other people. If I'm telling you exactly how to go about taking care, that means he really had to dive deep into this and make sure like he had all his bases covered.
That's what I'm saying.
Make sure, like, he had to make sure all bases were covered. Like, all right, if something happens, all right, I know how to counter that. Oh, if somebody asks me how to do this, I know I have an answer for that. So he definitely studied his craft for sure. Studied the craft for sure.
I mean, it's for the people. If y'all looking for his page. Look like a bunch of happy people, but we don't know everything. Bunch of smiles. But hey, what does this say about the real world though? Because whether he had, I mean, there's some celebrities on here that he did as well. I'm looking on the page.
So I've heard, yeah.
So what does this say about having credentials and not having credentials? Okay, let me put it this way. What does it say about someone that has a skill without the credentials, but someone having the credentials without the skill? Because you can look at this look at this from so many different perspectives. And realistically speaking, you can have someone that has all the credentials but never did any of the practical work. You're qualified to do it, but are you ready to actually dive in and do it? No. Haven't been no practical work done for you to even like go in depth into it. You can take a test. Anybody can take a test and get the answers right to get a certification. But the real question is being hands-on. Even with personal training, you can be a personal trainer, learn about the body within yourself, and not go to school to get it certified, but still be able to help people lose weight, reach their goals, because you know how the body works. You don't necessarily need to go to school for that. There's a lot of stuff you can just watch videos on YouTube and all this stuff. You have the knowledge, but you don't have the certification. So what does that really say? Do you really need a certification to I mean, obviously by law you would to prevent yourself from getting in any legal trouble, but what does this say? Like, what does this do for the people now that really have the practical skill, but just not the certification with anything? Like, you can be a chef, you can know how to cook it up really good with no type of certification stating that you're the top chef, whatever the case may be, but you can still know how to cook very well, cook your ass off, but just no certification. Do you not trust this person now? And when it's just a paper just verifying it, like, it can go mad ways, even with sports. You can have an 18-year-old that's ready to play in the NBA right now, or a 16-year-old that's ready to play in the NBA right now. But did he play college basketball? No. Did he play overseas? No. Did he go to the league? No. But is he ready? Yes. And that can be very possible. Very possible. Can be to have the size of NBA player, have been working out. It's just as consistent with everything. But it's like, okay, how can we prove that he's really ready? He's showing y'all he's ready. Like, it's different ways to look at it, but I don't know. It's one of those things, man, where you question a lot.
I think it always gonna highly depend on obviously the industry you're looking to be in.
True.
Like, obviously, like I said, like dentistry, anything in like medicine, you can't fuck around and not have any type of like licensure for that.
Yeah.
I would not trust any doctor, any dentist, any person who does like eyes or skin like that unless you show me that, unless I know for sure that you have like schooling, education, you have licensure to do all of those practices. Though in that case, yes, I need to make sure, like, same thing with probably like people who study law. Like, I would need to make sure that. But I think out of probably like maybe like most things, you can learn along the way. Like,
absolutely.
That's funny because I actually posed a question a few months ago back in my Instagram story where I asked, should someone actually possess the social proof of their work before charging people for their service? And so you know, because it made me. I was just thinking of like, there's certain industries where, you know, you don't need to you know, show like your expertise like up front. You can kind of like teach along, like, you know, along the way. Like perfect example is people who sell products. Like if you sell clothing, you don't need a licensure to sell like to tell people like how to sell clothing. Like if you've been selling clothing for like 3 months, you could probably start telling people within those like those 90 days, you know, start teaching on YouTube. Oh yeah, this is how I started a clothing business. This is how I generated this. Like that's something like there. You probably wouldn't need like, you know, like license, you wouldn't need licensing, or you wouldn't need like well, obviously not licensing, but like you wouldn't need like, well, obviously you want to have like a little bit of social proof, but it's not like heavy duty like required. It just always helps if you have the social proof, because then people, you know, they can be like, okay, maybe he's trustworthy.
Yeah.
But I think of something like a service, like something like saying like a business coach or something like that. Like if you can help somebody generate, you know, $10,000 for their business, well, again, like that's something I would want some social proof for. Like even if you have, I still want to see like, you know, I want to see reviews. I mean, I guess reviews in a way kind of helps like all of those industries, because like with clothing, like if you have good reviews, then obviously that must tell you that, all right, people enjoy the product and stuff like that, so they're gonna buy. Like a service-based business, oh, this person actually helped me, you know, got me these results. You know, they got plenty of testimonials to help, you know, verify their work and stuff like that. So I think it really depends on like certain industries. The same thing like what you were saying with like personal training. Like you didn't need to go to school for that. I wish I would have learned that before I had went to college, that I would have just needed to just grab the certification. But, you know, I don't feel like you don't really need a certification to train anybody. Like now when you want to start charging people for something, you know, then, you know, obviously I think it's necessary to have like, you know, the licensure and, you know, like those certificates to kind of show, okay, are you trustworthy? Because at the end of the day, that's what's going to come down to. Like if you're going to charge me something, I need to know that you're trustworthy. So what licensure are you holding? What paperwork are you holding? Like what exactly what do you have that shows me you're trustworthy? And bro clearly didn't have that. Like he just had like his Instagram. He had the visuals there to show you, yes, which is probably like half the work. Like, yeah, okay, I have these testimonials here. I have these reviews here. So like I said, he could get away with it for so long. But like the minute somebody starts, you know, complaining, like even in like medicine, if you sue a doctor, I'm sure they got some type of insurance.
Right.
With this, but bro here, he ain't got no licensure. I mean, I don't know if bro has any insurance while he was doing this practice either. Like, I don't know. He could have been operating with insurance and just didn't have the licensure. Or maybe he was operating doing his practice and, you know, he didn't have the licensure. He didn't have insurance, but who knows? But I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's just the fact is that people are going to want to see that you can produce results.
Yeah.
They want to see the reviews. They want to see the testimonials. They want to see the visuals. They want to see the paperwork. They want something that helps them, ensure them, and give them confidence that they can trust you.
And that can be either way though too. Looking at it, but like you said, so I feel like it's all situational based off of the industry that you're in. Like for example, if you're obviously in like the clothing industry and you have you know, reviews on your page looks legit. You're reposting people in your products. You're clearly showing, giving people, you know, your audience an idea that obviously when you're legit, till you send out your actual, like you ship out the actual orders and it's showing that people are actually rocking with your stuff. Versus having like a page where you just have a whole bunch of mock-ups and then you're trying to sell people stuff, but there's nobody's there to vouch for you. There's no videos showing people in your merchandise to vouch or to give any type of like social proof. So like you're right, it all depends on like the situation, because you don't need to show them your LLC to let you know, for people to let you know
that I'm legitimate. Like the fact is that you got the social proof there just to be like, listen, you can see the reviews, right? You see the testimonials, right? You see what else do you need to see me? Like, yeah, that you know, obviously again, like that's an industry you don't need like heavy duty, like you don't need licensure for. Like you can be in e-commerce for 3 months and you can get people to follow you based off of, you know, the results. Like
results which you're putting out.
If you can provide them results, if you can provide expertise on something, even if you only been doing it 90 days, I mean, you can get people to listen to you. I mean, they're probably gonna want to dive deeper and see what else can you do, like what else have you done. But I think as long as you can provide expertise, you can teach anybody anything. You can charge people what you want as long as you have the expertise.
Yeah.
Again, like just depending on the industry that you're in, it might require you to have some type of like paperwork to really justify, are you worth paying
whatever the cost is.
Exactly.
So with with these gatherings, do you think that he's in the wrong for what he did or how things played out? Or do you think that's a hustler trying to be a hustler? Because if you had the opportunity to go do something that you have expertise in, but you don't have the actual credentials, I mean, I guess the actual paperwork to verify, would you put yourself in a situation like that where you can succeed?
Again, like it's just like because it's dentistry, that technically is like that's a liability.
You're right.
That is very much a liability. Like I don't fuck around with my health. Like that is in this case for what bro's doing in dentistry and medicine, that's not cool. That's
so
not cool.
He deserves what he's getting right now.
Listen, I don't ever want to say anybody deserves anything until I really, really know like the full on story. Like obviously I'm just going based off of like what I've read and stuff like that. But like from the scope of it, if I'm hearing that you're operating on somebody's mouth and you don't have any type of like licensing or anything like that. Again, apparently all we've heard is that he has no licensing. We don't know if he went to school for this or not, if he just learned this in school and just didn't get a certification. Who knows? He might have went to dental school and then dropped out and then just decided to just start doing veneers on his own time and just learn the craft. Like we don't know. That's why I'm just like, it's like, I want to say that he deserved that. Like I would hope not, but like I hope bro that wouldn't go down, or they don't hit him with like a hefty charge for this. But like it's just like you got to think about the fact that you're operating somebody's mouth. This is health. This is medicine. That's one industry you can't fuck around in medicine,
right?
Because you're dealing with people's health. You're dealing with people like living organisms. This isn't a fucking animal or a freaking like some type of like dead species or something like that. Like we are living like humans. You're operating on a human, and I don't believe that like you can't play around in that type of industry. Like I said, he might have the Instagram and maybe like the reviews and testimonials and stuff like that, but even then, for doing it for however many years he's been doing it, it's still like, bruh, like I applaud you for how long you got away with doing this, but I mean, I don't think everybody's always gonna get away with anything. Like I think you can only do things for so long until somebody says something. So, like I said, I truly believe that, honestly, like bro must have just got busted because somebody said something. I don't believe feds would just go walk you up in there and raiding his office without somebody tipping them off. Feds don't get information like that unless they have somebody to tip them off.
Yeah,
we just know we all know that's just how crime works. Like the feds is not going, police is not coming somewhere, feds are not going anywhere unless they are tipped off about something, unless they have some maybe like probable cause.
Yeah,
like they have to believe that or have some type of intel. So I think somebody may have dimed him out or something like that, or just made a complaint or something like that.
It definitely did. I think that, so basically with everything that's been said and everything that he's been doing, I think that at the end of the day, what his consequence would be to come to, well, I think you have to look at, okay, did he did he partake in any type of like deformity or any type of harm to someone's mouth? And if there was multiple incidents of that, then I don't think he needs to go to jail, but I think he needs to do some type of like community service or some type of community, something to give his time back and to shed some type of community work. I think he needs to do. I don't think necessarily jail would be the actual right place for him considering the time frame. But like I said, it all depends on how his work, how the work that he was doing, how the actual end result of that was. Because if he was doing his thing and it just comes out and him just not having a certification, then tell him he got to go to school and get the certification. Because
I mean, if anything, it's just like
verify it. Let him go do that, but still do some community work for operating your business illegally. Because at the end of the day, what it comes down to, this is probably something we don't know his life. We don't know his personal life. We don't know what he's been through. We don't know how he's surviving, and we don't know, this might be all he got, or all he knows. So this could have just been a hustle move, doing a hustle thing, and it happened that he end up getting caught without the verification. So it's like you can look at it from multiple ways. We don't know boy, so we don't know what he's been through or what his life was like. But I don't think jail's the option. I mean, jail's the right thing to do. I'm gonna do some type of community service and then force him to get some type of certification before he operating again, because clearly he's doing some type of good work to have all these type of freaking reviews. So he's doing something good, but did he legit it? No, clearly not. So when you look at that work, it's like anybody could be. If you're just missing a piece of paper verifying what you already know you're good at, don't take it to the extreme like that. He didn't kill nobody. But like I said, if there's some damage work, internally in people's mouth, you gotta pay the cost of that, because it's a liability doing all that. You don't have no type of verification or certification to certify you doing any type of oral procedures, but you're just doing it. So I think that if there's any type of like problems with that, definitely you gotta obviously you gotta come up off that with that. But jail, nah.
I feel it. Okay.
Some type of like community service, yeah, and just make
Say
sure
probably maybe like community service, may pay obviously maybe pay like a hefty fine or something like that. But
fine, yep. And then you can just freeze his business until he gets verified.
Yeah.
I think that's the realist, because you're not gonna be in business for that long if you're not doing any type of good work, bro. That's for one. That's what you gotta look at. Everybody's just looking at, he didn't have the business, the actual verification or certificate, however you want to look at it. But we can look at it from like, there's so many people, like, it's just so many ways to look at it, bro. I'm looking at it from so many different lenses, and it's like, he didn't kill nobody. He wasn't purposely all he was trying to do was help, give out a procedure to, enhance someone's confidence, enhance someone's smile, make their life better. And it's just unfortunate that he didn't have the certification for it, or at the moment, or maybe he just didn't get to it, but he had the skill to get it done. So that's how you gotta look at it. When things go wrong like that, everybody can't always look at what he didn't have, but look at what he was trying to do. He wasn't trying to kill nobody. He wasn't trying to it was all for a good cause. But a piece of paper not having that is you're gonna weigh out the
Yeah,
So
I mean, listen, I think it's just like I said, because of why it's looked at so harshly is because, again, I think it's just because he's in health, he's in medicine.
Yeah.
I think that's just why it's being looked at like so harshly, like why he's being charged the way he's being charged, because again, like we're talking about like health. Like
Uncle Sam
again.
Too. He needs some more of that chicken, man.
Shit. I mean, listen, like you said, I agree, fine. Community service probably do. I don't think like a hefty sentence is really like necessary, but again, what do I know? I'm not in the judicial system. I'm just trying to look out for bro, because like you said, he was just doing something for the people.
That's what it came down to. With
committing us a good service, service that's very popular. We know, especially among celebrities, we're getting veneers, but definitely something that's become popular over the past few years with not just celebrities, but a lot of people getting their teeth done.
Fixing that smile, enhancing that confidence.
Exactly. So it's tough. I mean, I'll be looking more into it to kind of see how it goes on and hear what the verdict of this will all be. But
it's interesting.
I hope bro is everything goes as best as it possibly can be, and that the judge isn't super harsh on him, or these charges aren't really super significant that it fucks up the rest of his life.
Fair enough.
Oh man. Yeah, man. So yeah, talent without credentials. That's something. All right, bro. How has your business been going? How has business been, man?
Business, so just like we was talking about off camera, just about life, and it's been going good, but it did come to like I guess like a slight standstill just from my personal standpoint within my personal life, because when you're starting off with your business, your business. Whatever you do affects your business. Whatever you don't do affects your business. If your personal life is still, things are going on that you got to deal with, then your personal business can kind of take a pause until you get right back to how you need to be. And for the most part, like it's just like we talked about, just life just been happening, dealing with family, sicknesses in the family, uh, bills, and really just trying to, get back on track with everything. Because as we all know, life can kind of guard you off rail, and you got to just be able to bounce back, be strong enough to bounce back. But yeah, few family members, not in the best situation, I guess, health wise, and that could take a toll on you, kind of throw you off your mental a little bit. And like this past summer, was really just about just taking a little break in a sense to really just make sure your mental is up to par. Because you can, you go through things and you want to just keep going, but eventually you're gonna fold one day. You're gonna break one day. No matter how tough you think you are, if you're not, seeking the proper help, or just coming within yourself and finding self within your peace within yourself, it can derail you. And for me, it was just like I didn't really this past summer, the workflow wasn't as consistent, I would say, as far as the bills was coming in. So it was an extra grind I was on to just balance that off because of the flow not coming in how you want it to be. But like it happens in life sometimes. Sometimes you get a little you got to slow down. I guess that's how you look at it. You got to slow down a little bit to kind of take a few steps back to go to do a few steps forward. And it's really just about just laying down the groundwork within yourself, making sure the base of you is good, making sure your mental is good, making sure you're able to stay focused and locked in with everything. And yeah, man, when you're working all year and then you're constantly spending money on things, and bills keep adding up, and you get more expenses coming to your pockets. Sometimes things can just slow you down, and obviously the funding, when it comes down to your business, your money comes from yourself. And for me, it was just really just prioritizing a little more on certain things, and just making shit happen, bro. Like there's never gonna be a point where I'm like, oh, I had an excuse for this and I had an excuse for that. It's really just about, sometimes shit happen and you gotta hustle your way back up. And that's really what I've been on. I've also been kind of just thinking how to reprogram my structure within the business, because anything you do at some point, if you want to get better at it, you have to take a few steps back to kind of see what was working, what's not working, and what to do and what not to do in the future. And I don't look at my brand as being a one-hit wonder, or a like one of those brands you hear about and you don't hear about no more. Mm-hmm. So I'm really diving deep into the purpose, the meaning, and what I put out, so that people really understand my message the right way. Because it's easy to just put out a design, put out a t-shirt, and people think, oh, that's nice. But when you don't really know what's going on, what this really means, you're kind of questionable. But when you put something on and you know the exact meaning behind it, and you can relate it back to your life, it speaks volume. It's no longer just a t-shirt. It's no longer you don't look at the price tag anymore. You think about how it makes you feel when you put it on. And my main thing now is making sure that when anybody put any piece of merchandise on, they understand exactly what it is, how it connects to their life, and they understand the value of it. Because the whole thing, like I said, in other podcasts about the brand, is really about keeping that positive mindset through the good and the bad. Because the bad's gonna come, but whether or not you have a positive mindset, it will determine whether or not you get through it. And it's just like a reminder to people to keep pushing, because shit's gonna happen, shit's gonna get rough, but you can't let that shit discourage you with anything. This involves with any part of your life, relationships, sports, school, work, any type of thing. You got to keep that positive mindset, because situations are going to occur, things are going to happen that's out of your control. But there's things that you do have control over, and the things you do have control of, you got to tackle that with a positive mindset, regardless of how things are going. Because I done been down a whole bunch of times, bro, and no one would even know it, because it's how I carry it. It's how I know it's like, okay, things are not good right now. Things are a little rocky right now, but I know the only way to get up out of this with a positive mindset. I got to start changing the way I think. A lot of people go through things and their initial response is to shut down. For me, it puts the battery in my back. I figure out when any time a problem occurs, I go to the root of the problem. I'm not doing no second person. What's the root of the problem? What causes problem? And what am I not doing next time so I can prevent this? And that's how I carry a lot of things. It's never no thing where it's gonna happen overnight, but you have to take the proper steps. And that's why, it's important to plan things out, have structure, because when you're not being motivated, but you can stay consistent and still get those results that you need. And just relating this back to the clothing brand, it's just like I look at how I was doing certain things, and I realized how I can be a lot better at things. So really, just like I said, this whole summer was really just a matter of laying down the groundwork and preparing for the next time I actually, decide to drop something, and just doing it a lot better than I did the times before, and just making sure what I put out has a stronger meaning and making sure people understand the meaning, because this relates to anybody in the world, no matter what you're doing. If your life's been perfect, quote unquote perfect for you, you have some type of positivity to maintain that. If you have some negativity anywhere and you change your life around, you still have to have some type of positivity to get through it. So it's not just a clothing brand. This is a lifestyle. It's a statement. It's optimism. Like, bro, it's more than just just on surface what it is. It's a lot deeper than that. And I want to make sure that before anybody purchases anything, they understand that, because when you put this hat on, this shirt on, this sweatpants on, you understand what this is, how it relates to you, and it's a reminder to keep pushing anytime some shit happens or anytime something good happens. You got to continue to keep pushing regardless, And yeah, man, I just did a whole bunch of reflecting this summer. A lot of things happened in summer too that put me in a position where I had to really think, like, why is this happening? Like, who was out in LA, got robbed out there. Like, it's a lot, and it's like you wonder, why did this happen? Like, you can from a pessimist, you can look at it as, damn, I got robbed. Someone stole my stuff. I need people to feel bad for me. Nobody's gonna feel bad for you. Nobody's coming to save you. You gotta look at it from this, and I looked at it from this way. Like, when that shit happened, bro, I was so heated. It was my second day in vacation, bro. We got robbed from our shit that we
got
brought
the visuals for that, right?
Yeah, that's coming soon, bro. That's coming soon. But we like, I questioned it. I'm like, yo, I came out here to vacation. What did I do to deserve to get robbed? I don't steal from nobody. I don't disrespect nobody. That doesn't, like, if you disrespect me, then it's another thing. But I don't just purposely disrespect people or go out my way to make people feel bad. I'm always trying to encourage people, be the best person they could be, and things like that. So I had to really dive deep and really understand that if someone was bold enough to go break into a car, it says a lot about their lifestyle and what they're going through and where their mind is at. Because if you go to break into a car, that means that you're bold and you're at a point where you don't care. Because I could have been sitting the car had tents. I could have been sitting in that car and you don't even know I had a gun ready to go if someone wanted to do something and blow your brains up. But when you're from a robber's perspective, you're so hungry to get this thrill going that you're not even worried about that. And if you do, you just don't care. So I sat back and I said, yo, anybody that has the courage to go invade someone's space and steal that stuff, it says a lot about what's going on here. And the only thing I could think about was, if these two dudes had the courage to go do this is not the first time this happened, that they've ever did some shit like this. It's clearly that they're not in position to provide for themselves, that they have to go take from others.
Yeah. No, I believe that criminals that will, especially like when you rob, you're definitely working off of desperation.
Exactly.
You're desperate for something, like you need something, so you feel the need to go steal, take something, like you're desperate for something.
Yeah, you're willing to put your life at risk because you don't know. You don't know what you're gonna encounter trying to do this. But long story short, they took it, and I had to think about it. I'm like, all right, clearly these people needed it more than I did, and it wasn't like any of those things in that car wasn't replaceable. Outside of my retainer that I used, because obviously I had braces before too. That was the main thing I was worried about, bro. I'm like, damn, my teeth gonna shift. I gotta go get remolded again. But even if that was the case, I can go get retainers again and go replace that. I mean, I had my books in there that I was reading, got stolen. I had a whole bunch of merch that I had just in the car, because in California, bro, when you're out, you leave out early in the morning, and you're not gonna, like, going back home and then come back out. By the time you do that, it's gonna be dark. Like it's a lot of traffic in LA. So when you go out for the day, you've kind of just out for the day. By the time you get back, you know, day's pretty much over type shit. So we packed our bags as if we was going to the beach. We was going to Kobe Bryant Invitational tournament thing. And we was just gonna go out to eat and just kick it. So we was out for the day, bro, just really cool in it, and packed the bag accordingly. I had just bought that bag as well. No more than 48 hours of me having that purchase in that bag got stolen. But you know, we look at it from that perspective, bro, and it's like, yeah, I felt invaded, but imagine if we were sitting in the car and they robbed us. It could have been a lot worse. What if they had guns drawn on us and we was in the car? Like it could have went different. But I'm thankful that and grateful that we wasn't in the car when it happened. Because honestly, that shit would have scarred me for life as well. Like I would never be able to sit in the car ever again without being paranoid. I'd be paranoid for the rest of my life if I was in the car when that shit happened. But things happen for a reason. And the only thing I could think about that was I'm like, yo, obviously at the end of the day, someone stole from us, but clearly they needed it more than we did, and everything in that car was replaceable. And that's what I took from that. I said, there's nothing in this car that I can't work to get back, or there's nothing in this car that God took away. Like, dudes, some people take away from us that he can't replace. Mm-hmm. And once I was able to get past that and get that mentally in my brain, I was able to enjoy the rest of my vacation. Like, I ain't gonna lie. I was mad, obviously, the first couple hours, but when you start to really think about things from a different perspective, you realize that in life things are gonna happen, but it's really about what you do after that. And for me, it was just like, everything here is replaceable. Things could have been a lot worse, even though it's worse now, but it could have been a lot worse. I still got my money to, do what I got to do. And just people that came in here and did this, good luck to them. They're fighting some demons that, we don't even know about. And I took it from that and with a grain of salt, bro, and just realized that dudes are still blessed. Even though that's that happened to us, bro. So, like I said, but this all ties back down to the mindset. If I didn't have the mindset I had, bro, I'd probably still be stressed out about that. Still waiting for someone to damn, bro, I got robbed in California. You think you can lend me this? You think you can lend me that? No. I just put the battery in my back to hustle even harder and be a lot more wise now. You can't just put your car in the parking lot. You can't, when you're going out, you can't carry certain stuff. You got to make sure things are legit hidden away, or just don't bring certain things. Because, you know what's crazy? I was going to bring my laptop because I planned on working on the beach. And right when I got to leaving out the Airbnb, I said, nah, I'm not going to leave it. And I put it back on the charger. So imagine if this laptop was gone.
Yeah, you would have. That would have been gone too.
Like, bro, like, you don't understand. Like, if you put things in perspective like that, it's like, yo, it could have been, like I said, it could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse. But still grateful, bro. And, things happen for a reason. Maybe it was meant for me to see things from a different perspective and understand that it's real out here. I'm a lot more fortunate than I think I am to be able to provide for myself and get what I want without having to do anything illegally. On the other hand, these dudes that, took it upon themselves to go do that, that's not the case for them. You still gotta stay level-headed with things, bro, because life is real, bro. And things happen, but you gotta be able to. It's not about things gonna happen, but it's about what you do after that. And I went back to the bookstore, bought 2 more books. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's how it is, bro. And then that was kind of, like I said, it was like a real rude awakening on this past summer, bro. And it just helped me just think a little deeper than what I've already been thinking about, and just trying to restructure things to the point where I have the best interest and I have the best possible outcome with whatever I do. So, you know what I'm saying? That was kind of like my whole gist of this past summer leading up to now. But, we in the green, bro, so it's going.
Heard you. Man. All right. Well, y'all clearly see what the lessons for today were. Talent without credentials. Can you operate without them, with them? I mean, please, you can, but proceed with caution with that.
Absolutely.
And life is going to happen. It's all about just how you're going to respond to it.
It's how you respond. It's always about how you respond, man. Always.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure you're following us on our TikTok page, both our individual pages, both our Instagram pages. We'll leave those down in the description. Make sure you're following the podcast on whatever podcast streaming platform you're into. This has been another episode of the Millennial Gems podcast. We're going to catch y'all in the next one.
That'll be easy.